Hello my dear friend, I hope you are doing great. Welcome back to my channel. If you have not subscribed it, please subscribe it, press the bell icon, hit the like button also. Friends, as you know, we have already covered about the what are the amendments we have done in our constitution. Even we have talked about the 104th Constitution Amendment Act which came into existence in the February 2021 itself. Yes, it is very important to remember each and every amendment. Generally, whenever we are reciting our answer in during mains examination, then we have to utilize the statement of the or verdict of the or the pronouncement of the judgment, and we have to keep this thing for the our future reference also, because political science is about the understanding of the constitution. It doesn't like that we will cram all the things and all the data and we will put down on the paper, we will get marks. No, it can't be possible. We have to understand each and everything meticulously, and because there is a hierarchical or there is a chronological order of all the cases, we have to keep this thing in mind. Now I am going to tell you how our parliament can amend the constitution and what are the ways to amend the constitution. And please, if you want to score more in your examination, then you have to refer each and every constitution amendment act. Yes, it is very typical to remember, but we have to keep on repeating the things, then only we will be able to remember for the longer duration. Now I'm going to tell you, this is the parliamentary jurisdiction, means parliament is the solely responsible for the to amend the constitution. Yeah, state legislative assembly is not granted with such type of rights. Yes, even they are not give recommendation to the parliament to amend the constitution, because their domain is different. Parliament domain is the to amend the constitution, and amendment power provided only to the parliament only. And if I will talk about the who can represent, who can project, or who can propounded the amendment in the constitution, it can be a private member. What does mean private member? Private member can be like it can be a opposite party minister, or it can be a opposite or the same party MP also. Means there is a big difference in the private member and the ministers. Whoever having the position of the minister, then it would call the minister or the permanent member, government member. But if he may be the part of the winning party, or he may be the member of the opposite party, then it would consider, if he is not possessing any position in the government, then it would consider as a private member. Yes, constitution amendment can be proposed by the private member or the government member. The second point is that yes, it can be represent, or it can be proceed in every or any house of the parliament. Means a person can represent a constitution amendment act in the Lok Sabha or Rajya Sabha. It totally depends upon their choice, because as per the constitution amendment power, there is no restriction set that if you want to amend the constitution, you have to represent in the Lok Sabha itself. Not like that. And third one, prior president in approval is not requirement for the constitution amendment, because you might have heard or you might have read somewhere that if you are seeking or you are urging to amend the constitution, then you have to take prior permission of the president. No, it's not like that. You have to keep this thing in mind. In the future, you can encounter preliminary questions on the basis of such facts. And like a money bill can be project in the Lok Sabha, only the prior permission of the president. We have to keep this thing our mind less. And already I have reiterated the three things that what are the, and there is a no joint session provision in the Constitution Amendment Act. Like if you are willing to amend the constitution, then you might have seen, if a deadlock in the Lok Sabha or Rajya Sabha, generally on the normal bill, there is a provision to under Article 108, they can summon the combine or combination of the two parliament session. But in the Constitution Amendment Act, it is not like that. You cannot summon both the session together and both the house together. And like what about the president? Like might have read that veto power is president is having. But in regard to the Constitution Amendment Act, under Article 368, the president have to give assent. He cannot deny or he cannot put the bill inside his pocket, means he cannot utilize veto power. He has to give assent, and this provision earlier not part of the Constitution, but it came into existence after the 24th Constitution Amendment Act that happened in the 1971 itself. Now further I am going to tell that there are the three categories that by which means you can amend the Constitution. Simple majority means, simple majority, already I have told you in the previous lecture, the majority lecture. If you have not watched previous lecture, please visit all of that, because if you will not know about what is the simple majority, how can it possible I will make you understand that yes, this is the procedure to amend the Constitution. The simple majority is like that, present and voting and more than half of that is called the simple majority. And generally in the Constitution itself, our like forefather of the Constitution, Ambedkar, told us that if you are not agree with the Constitution, then come up with the 2/3 majority and please amend the Constitution. And if you are not able to gather the assent of the 2/3 people, then you are the only one who are dissatisfied with the Constitution. Then for your interest, we cannot change the larger public interest. That was, but in the Laxmikant polity book, you will find that there are the three way of the Constitutional amendment. Although if there is a bill passed by the simple majority, we should not consider it as a Constitutional amendment technically, but generally we are saying that yes, by the simple majority we can amend some provision of the Constitution, and that is simple majority under Article 368. And what are the type of the rule you can change? Generally, like formation of the new state. If you want to segregate or you want to bifurcate any state and you want to rename any state, then it would consider by the simple majority itself. And the second one is that create an abolition of the legislative council. You know that Tamil Nadu and Mumbai, these are the this type of 6 states, they are having legislative council. If they are, or even Bangladesh is also proposing to create a legislative council, means this provision is only for if you are coming with the simple majority, then you would able to create legislative council and abolish legislative council. And the third one is the number of peon judges. Peon judges means in the past, in the 1950, there were number of the judges in the Supreme Court were less. Now we are having about the 34 judges in our Supreme Court and 1 CGI. But number of the judges, peon judges, can be changed by the simple majority itself. We have to keep this thing in our mind. And already I have told you, but if you are passing any bill with the simple majority, that it should not consider, technically should not consider the Constitution Amendment Act. If I will talk about the special majority means 2/3 of the present and voting and plus absolute majority. Already I have told you in previous lecture. And what are the provision you can amend by this special majority? Like fundamental rights. These are the basic and the fundamental of our life. That's why 2/3 plus absolute majority is requirement of to change the fundamental rights and DPSP. And the another one is that all other provision that covered in the Constitution amendment provision which does not comes under the article by simple majority, then they would consider automatically by the special majority. Even a third way to amend the Constitution means if your law or affect the federal structure of the Constitution, then half of the states ratification is requirement to get past the bill. That is the third way to amend the Constitution. Like if I will talk about the GST. GST is the totally impact on the state revenue. That's why there was a requirement of the half of the states. After half of the states ratification, the law came into the existence in 2016 July. And what are the other provision, like you can amend by the half of the state ratification, like election and number of the manner of the election of the president, because generally state legislative assembly members are responsible, or they are the part of the electorate of the president. That's why ratification of the half of the state is required for this type of constitution amendment. Then extent of the executive power, like if we want to extend the executive power of the president or governor or union or state, then we have to seek ratification of the half of the states, more than half of the states. And provision related to the Supreme Court, High Court, because earlier that you might have heard in the about the NJAC, 99th Constitution Amendment Act, by which means like the legislation want to control the selection procedure of the judges of the High Court and Supreme Court, but that was totally denied by the judiciary, because that against the basic structure of the constitution, because judiciary independence comes under the basic structure of the constitution. Yes, representation of the state in the parliament also comes under the half of the state ratification, and article 368 comes under this provision, like half of the states should ratify, then only we will able to amend the article 368. And if I will talk about our constitution is so beautiful. Even so many like British philosopher, they have mentioned and they said some statements. You can utilize these statements for the mains examination. And I want to tell you that Granville O'Steele's statement, he told about our constitution that is ably conceived aspects of the constitution. Means ably conceived means it can be flexible, it can be rigid. Sometimes you will find it is very typical to amend the constitution. Sometimes you will find it is very easy to amend the constitution, like by simple majority you can like amend some provision of the constitution. And that is totally ably constitution called by the Granville O'Steele. And if I will talk about some of the another philosopher like Elkins, Ginsburg and J. Milton, they told that our endurance of the national constitution is totally different, because it bearing the aspiration of the so many people in India. We are like having diversified culture, but our constitution enshrined the number of the people aspiration also. And there is a India amendment provision article, optimal balance, means optimal maximum balance between the DPSP and the fundamental rights is there. And that's why like we are able to maintain all the things meticulously here. Even like I want to quote some examples of the Oliver and the C. Fusro, that was a famous philosopher, and he told about the constitution. Keep this thing in mind, that India constitution is like rigid flexible. If you hear such type of things, that is oxymoron. Like a person can be flexible or a person can be rigid, though both things can not be happen. But that Fusro and Oliver told about their constitution, it is like rigid flexible. Sometimes it acts as a flexible, sometimes it acts as a rigid. I mean, both the feature are the like we can resemble or we can feel at one point of time. That is the beauty of our constitution. And even like I have talked several times about the basic structure of the constitution. Now I am going to tell you what are the provision, because nowhere is mentioned that what is the basic structure of the constitution, but we can infer from the Supreme Court judgment that what are the basic structure of the constitution. First one is that constitution supremacy, means constitution is the supreme body in our India and nobody can above the constitution. That is the basic structure of the constitution. And the second one is rule of law. Whatever rule of law, that is the supreme in our India and nobody can break this. The third one is the objective of the preamble, means that fraternity and like integrity, sovereignty, these are the prime or supreme things for ourselves and we cannot abridge such type of things. And the fourth one is that means these are the basic structure and parliament cannot amend or they cannot evade such type of things. This is the exact meaning of the basic structure. And free and fair election also, judiciary supremacy also, and Like primacy of the CJI, Chief Justice of India, in the every verdict is the basic structure of the means. CJI is the sole responsible for the all judiciary interpretation, and that is should be paramount. And social justice also, even like so many cases propounded the theory of the natural justice, and we have to consider it a basic structure of the constitution. I think now I am able to make you understand all the things meticulously. That is enough for today. I will come tomorrow with the more provision of the constitution. Thanks for watching. Bye.